everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we will learn about figurative language through the poem She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. But before we start the lesson today, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Nida Maulida and I am from class B 2023.
And my name is Najwa Az-Zahra.
And hi, my name is Nabila Az-Zahra Salsabila.
Okay, so now we will learn about figurative language through the poem She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. As our previous introduction, here in this group there are Nida Maulida and Nabila Az-Zahra Salsabila and Najwa Az-Zahra.
She walks in beauty, like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. This mellowed to that tender light, which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace, which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place, and on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness bent, a mind at peace with all glow, a heart whose love is innocent. Now that we have heard the entirety of the poem, let us learn a little bit more about the poem's background. She Walks in Beauty is one of the most famous lyrical poems by Lord Byron. He is an influential figure in the Romantic era of English literature. The poem was first published in 1814 and is often celebrated for its exploration of beauty, both external and internal. Lord Byron was born as George Gordon Byron. He was an English poet and a leading figure in the Romantic movement. His life was marked by a series of scandalous affairs and adventurous travels, which added to his reputation as both a literary genius and a notorious public figure. Known for his charismatic personality and complex character, Byron's works often delve into themes of love, nature, and the sublime, blending emotion and vivid imagery. She Walks in Beauty is said to have been inspired when Byron saw his cousin, Lady Wilmot Horton, at a party. She was dressed in a striking black dress with sparkling details, reminiscent of the starry night sky. The poem reflects Byron's admiration for her beauty, expressed in terms of harmony between light and dark, suggesting an ideal blend of physical and inner grace. It stands as a quintessential example of romantic poetry, highlighting the era's fascination with beauty, nature, and intense personal emotion.
Next, we're going to talk about the characteristic and theme of this poem. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron has several characteristics of the Romantic era. The poem celebrates the glorification of beauty, focusing on the woman's pure, natural beauty, a common theme in Romanticism, which often glorified nature and emotion over reason. Byron uses vivid imagery comparing the woman's beauty to the starry skies, reflecting the romantic tendency to draw from nature to express inner emotion. The poem emphasizes the emotional impact of beauty, highlighting the feelings it evokes rather than just the physical appearance. And for the theme of She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron revolves around the harmonious blend of inner goodness and outer beauty. Byron's poem celebrates an idealized vision of feminine beauty, portraying the subject as embodying both physical attractiveness and moral purity. The imagery of light and darkness throughout the poem symbolize the balance between these qualities, suggesting that true beauty is found not just in appearance, but in the character and tranquility of the soul. The poem emphasizes that inner serenity reflected subtly on the outside contributes as much to beauty as any physical feature. Through this, Byron explores the romantic ideal that beauty transcends mere physicality, intertwining virtue and grace to present a holistic appreciation of human beauty.
Okay, let's move to a simple breakdown of the structure and form of the poem She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. The first is form and structure. The poem consists of 3 stanzas, each containing 6 lines, and a type of stanza called a sestet. The poem follows a regular A-B rhyme scheme, which means the first and second lines rhyme, the third and fourth line rhyme, and so on. The poem is written in iambic tetrameter, which means each line has 6 syllables arranged in a pattern of unstressed and stressed syllables. Next is content and meaning. The poem describes a woman's physical beauty, focusing on both her outward appearance and the inner qualities that make her beautiful. The speaker compares her beauty to things in nature like the night sky and the stars to highlight how graceful and pure she is. Byron presents her beauty as harmonious balance between light and dark, good and pure qualities. For the example, here is the first stanza to give you a clearer idea. She walks in beauty like the night, of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright, made in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light, which heaven to guide the day denies. In this stanza, Byron uses a comparison like the night, and highlights how the woman's beauty blends opposites like light and dark. For the key points, for the stanza, there are 3 sestets, 6 lines each, and rhyme scheme A-B, and meter, iambic tetrameter, 8 syllables per line, alternating unstressed and stressed syllables. Well, I will explain the tone and rhythm in She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. For the tone of the poem is admiring and respectful. Byron speaks with deep reverence for the woman's beauty, both physical and inner. There is a sense of awe and idealization, as if the speaker is almost worshipful of her grace and purity. The tone is also calm and peaceful, emphasizing the harmony and perfection of the subject. The next is rhythm. The rhythm of the poem is mostly regular, with iambic tetrameter, 8 syllables per line, giving it a smooth, steady flow. The steady rhythm mirrors the grace and elegance of the woman being described. In the final stanza, the rhythm shifts slightly to iambic trimeter, 6 syllables per line, which gives the closing lines a softer, more reflective feel, adding a sense of quiet admiration. The overall meaning of She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron is a celebration of a woman's extraordinary beauty, both physical and inner. The speaker admires her outward appearance, describing her as radiant and harmonious, like a perfect balance between light and dark. At the same time, he suggests that her beauty reflects her inner goodness and purity of character. The poem emphasizes how the woman's beauty is not just skinned, it radiates from within, making her appear as perfect and graceful as nature itself. Ultimately, the poem conveys an idealized vision of beauty that transcends physical looks and connects with deeper moral and spiritual.
And now we will talk about figurative language. What is figurative language? Figurative language use words or expressions that go beyond their literal meanings to create vivid imagery, emphasizes ideas, and evoke emotion. This type of language helps make writing more engaging and layered with deeper significance. One common type is the simile, which compares two things using like or as seen in the line, "She walks in beauty, like the night." Metaphors are another example, involving direct comparison between unrelated things without using like or as, such as "He's a shining star," which suggests someone's brilliance or importance. And personification attributes human quality to non-human elements, adding a sense of life to objects or ideas, like the wind whispered through the trees. Hyperbole uses an exaggeration for emphasis. For example, "I've told you a million times," to stress a point. Symbolism involves using symbols to represent broader ideas, such as a dove to signify peace. Overall, figurative language enriches text by making it more expressive and impactful, allowing readers to visualize concepts and connect emotionally with the content.
Now that we know what figurative language is, let's dive a little bit deeper into simile, metaphor, and personification. As you know before, a simile is a comparison between two different things using the words like or as. It helps readers understand something by drawing a parallel to something familiar. For example, in the line, "She walks in beauty like the night," the poet compares the woman's beauty to the night, suggesting that her beauty is as peaceful, mysterious, and captivating as the serene night sky. Similes make descriptions clearer and allow the reader to form an image in their mind by highlighting similarities between two unrelated things. Next is metaphor. As you know, a metaphor is a figure of speech that directly compares two unrelated things without using like or as. It implies that one thing is another, which helps convey deeper meanings. For example, when we say, "Time is a thief," we don't mean that time literally steals from us, but rather that it takes away moments or opportunities from our lives. Metaphors create stronger, more vivid images by directly equating things, making the comparison feel more profound and immediate. Lastly, we have personification. Personification gives human characteristics to non-human things, or abstract concepts. By attributing human qualities to objects, animals, or ideas, personification brings them to life, allowing readers to relate to them on an emotional level. For instance, in the line, "The wind whispered through the trees," the wind is described as if it can speak, or whisper, which emphasizes the gentleness and movement of the wind. This technique makes descriptions more dynamic and helps readers form a deeper connection to the objects or concepts being personified. Each of these figurative language techniques, simile, metaphor, and personification, helps to enrich writing, adding layers of meaning and making the text more engaging and relatable.
For learning figurative language in She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron, I will explain the significance of figurative language. Figurative language is used to convey deeper meanings, create vivid images, and express emotions in ways that literal language cannot. In She Walks in Beauty, Lord Byron uses several types of figurative language, such as metaphor, simile, imagery, and personification to enhance the description of the woman and elevate her beauty. For example, when Byron compares her beauty to the night and cloudless climes and starry skies, he uses a simile to suggest that her beauty is both serene and powerful, like the natural world in its most perfect form. And for the purpose of figurative language in this poem is to create a vivid, idealized image of the woman. By comparing her beauty to elements of nature such as light, darkness, and stars, Byron emphasizes how her appearance is in harmony with the world around her. The figurative language also connects the woman's external beauty to her internal goodness, suggesting that she is flawless both inside and out. This adds layers of meaning, making the beauty described more than just a physical trait. It becomes a reflection of moral and spiritual purity. For the impact on readers, figurative language engages the reader's imagination and emotions by comparing the woman's beauty to nature's most beautiful and balanced elements. Byron makes her seem almost otherworldly or divine, which draws the reader in and invites them to admire her as the speaker does. It also makes the reader reflect on the relationship between outer beauty and inner goodness, encouraging a deeper appreciation of both. The use of vivid imagery and comparison also helps readers feel the admiration and reverence the speaker has for the woman. Next is reflection. Figurative language in this poem not only paints a beautiful big picture of the woman but also reflects the speaker's deep admiration for her. It helps the reader see the subject through the speaker's eyes, elevating her beauty to something pure, perfect, and almost spiritual. The figurative comparisons remind readers that true beauty is not just about appearance, but also about the inner qualities that shine through. Through these techniques, Byron invites readers to appreciate beauty in a more profound and holistic way.
Okay, let's do the practical activity. Now, as you guys can see, here's the poem stanza 1 and 2. I want you guys find which one is simile, metaphor, and personification. Yep, in stanza 1, she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies. It's simile. And in stanza 2, which waves in every raven dress is metaphor. And the last one is where truth serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place is personification. Okay, now we are at the end of our lesson for today. Here is the conclusion. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron uses figurative language such as similes, metaphors, and personification to depict a woman's beauty as transcendent and ethereal. The contrast between light and dark alongside the woman's purity create a harmonious image of inner and outer beauty. Learning figurative language through this poem highlights how poets use comparison and symbolic language to enhance meaning, engage readers, and evoke emotion, making the poem both vivid and impactful. Okay, now we are at the end of our lesson for today. Here is the conclusion. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron uses figurative language such as similes, metaphors, and personification to depict a woman's beauty as transcendent and ethereal. The contrast between light and dark alongside the woman's purity create a harmonious image of inner and outer beauty. Learning figurative language through this poem highlights how poets use comparison and symbolic language to enhance meaning, engage readers, and evoke emotion, making the poem both vivid and impactful. Okay guys, now we are at the end of our lesson for today. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you guys can learn something from it. Thank you so much. Bye!